The last couple days, I have been inundated with stuff on Amanda Todd. I've been trying to figure out what's been going on. I've been reading people's reactions. I even just watched her video. You know, slides, everything, using pieces of paper. What I don't get is what makes her more special than any of the other 6,400 young Americans who kill themselves every year, or even the numbers that try to, which is estimated at 10 for every single one of them. So you're talking at least 64,000 young Americans who try and kill themselves every year. What makes her more special? Really? Oh, because she made mistakes and was bullied over it. Because she couldn't stay off Facebook. She was doing great. She was doing fine by her own admission. And then she saw stuff. I don't really get it. I hold very little respect for people who commit suicide, especially when it was their own mistakes. I actually do feel bad for some people who do it because of their looks. Stuff that they cannot control. Their genes controlled. Okay? I was the fat kid growing up. I was the heaviest kid in my classes growing up. Heck, by the time I hit high school, I was the second heaviest kid on the football team. Probably the third or fourth heaviest kid in school. Okay? But growing up, I was teased. I was picked on. I was even beaten up by people who 6-10 months before then were always my friends. All of a sudden, they randomly beat me up. You know what? Look at me. I'm still here. Okay? What does that say? Suicide is not the only way out. Suicide is the most selfish thing you can do. Okay? You want to know how much I persevered? Look at me. Look at me. I live in a 1978 RV with my wife. You know why? So we can finally try and go back to school. Okay? My wife is in her 40s. She just finally, a couple years ago, was willing to finally come out about stuff she went through. She went through the same stuff Amanda did. I mean, yeah, she didn't flash herself to people, but she was picked on. She was beaten up. She had her cheekbone crushed, broken by other girls from a fight. Okay? From messing with another man. Oh, so Amanda got punched. Oh, suicide. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I hold no respect for that. I've got friends my age and older who have to take a lot of medication just to get out of bed every day. Just to get out of bed. But you know what? They're still around. You know why? Because they are not selfish enough to take their own life. They are willing to push on knowing that sooner or later, it's going to pay off for them. They are going to be able to move past everything. They are going to be comfortable with who they are. Other people are going to love them for who they are and not what other people think they should be but aren't. It is the most bullshit thing about culture. You get these views, these physical views, which is the biggest part, But some of the parts is, you screw up because you did something really stupid. And what happens? Everybody picks on it. For all you young people out there, I'm going to tell you what. If you ever think about killing yourself, how no one loves you, that it would just be better if you just died. Let me just put it this way. Young people are retards. They need to pick on you. They need to put you down to make their own infinitesimal lives seem worthwhile. You want to know how much the average human life really matters? On the grand scale? Go look at Felix Baumbrauer. Look at the picture of him looking down on this planet from only 24 miles up, a third of the way to outer space. The literal, what they have determined as the limits of outer space. A third of the way. You look at that planet, you look at what he even said from up there, and then tell you where life matters. Now, you want to go on a more personal scale? All life, all human life, even animal life, really does matter in one form or another. On an emotional scale, if you kill yourself, oh, no one loves me. You look at just the kind of emotion that any person, especially young American who commits suicide, you look at the emotions wrought by your parents, by any of your family, what friends you have, you look at what happens to those people, what their friends and family do, how they react, and then picture yourself being that person. How much pain you are causing them. And then you look at the blown up proportions of Amanda Todd. Look at that. Look at the family in general and what friends she had. All her friends. Obviously, it hit them hard. But I just don't grasp at all why she's so much more important than any of those 6,399 young Americans who kill themselves every year. I don't hold respect for suicide. Like I said, I think it's the most selfish thing you can do. Especially as a teenager. Especially. You know what? When you're growing up, it may seem like the end. It may seem like it's never going to get better. You know what? Once they hit a certain age, it drops off. They find other things to do. It may pop up once in a while. But you know what? Look at it this way. You will grow up, and if you push yourself, if you actually have the balls to push yourself, you can show them up. Oh, look at how you were when I was 14 or 15. Look at me now. Look at me now. Where am I? Think about it. I spent so many years down in the dumps. I've even thought about death. Okay, as a friend said, what teenager hasn't? As my wife has said, what teenager hasn't thought about it because of how things are? But you know what? If you don't give into it, eventually things will go your way. Especially if you try. If you give up, whether suicide or not, no, you're going to have a shit life the rest of your life. But if you legitimately try, things will get better. Things will get better. Like I said, we are living in a tiny RV that is smaller than most of your rooms. Most of your rooms. If your room is larger than a 10 by 10 room or 9 by 11 room, whatever, which I guarantee you most of you have more living space in your one bedroom than we have in our entire living area. That includes bedroom, living room, kitchen, and bathroom. Okay? There's a tiny little storage area up there. Okay? Okay, you know what? A lot of people would think we are terrible, that we are worthless. But you know what? We're doing this to advance ourselves. To say, fuck you. Fuck you. This is more. This is a path. We are willing to submit ourselves to being less, to be more. Learn it. Learn it. Suicide is the most stupid thing you can do. There are so many options for you out there. I'll tell you what. You want to know the honest opinion? I'm addicted to the internet. I love the internet. I love it. But I don't have withdrawals. I can go spend an entire summer out at camp and not need it all the time. We check it for a couple hours once every week or two. We did that this summer. So many of you cannot stay away from Facebook more than 2 or 3 days. At all. Okay? If that's where most of your issues come with, if like Amanda Todd, she got away from it. She even admitted in her little video with the slides, with the little papers, she was doing good. All of a sudden there were posts referencing her. If she had just stayed away and moved on with her life, just gave it all up. Don't even touch Facebook. No MySpace, if anybody even goes on there anymore. Just don't go on there. If you have problems with certain things, just leave it. Move on. Move on. Move on with your life. Don't look back. And, even if you see something, don't let, of course it's going to affect you. But fight it. Fight it. If you ever feel like you can't get past it, just tell yourself, you're better than that. You had mistakes. Move on. You learned from them. I'll tell you what, life isn't full of successes. Life is not full of successes. Successes take up a very small part. Life is full of mistakes. Mistakes. You want to know the thing about mistakes? The wonderful thing about mistakes, especially as humans? You learn from them. At least you're supposed to. There's some people out there who make mistakes and keep making mistakes and keep making mistakes. They just don't learn. Learn from them. If you make a mistake, learn from it. If other people won't let it go, if people keep bringing up your mistake, fuck them. Get rid of them. But they find me. They post about it. They post on Facebook. Fuck Facebook. Don't even go on Facebook. Delete your account. Get rid of them. Start over. You know what? She talked about being alone when she's sitting at lunch. Welcome. 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 I guarantee you I can't guarantee you, but more than likely before she hit that stage, she was sitting with people, and I guarantee if at least she wasn't, I can't see she wasn't, I can almost guarantee you people she sat with did, pointed out the people who sat alone. Oh, look at that loser sitting all alone. Or look at if nothing else, look at the geek table. Look at those outcasts. Look at the smoker crowd sitting over there by themselves. You find your niche. And you know what? I can guarantee you, the geeks, the smoker group, all those, they were happier than any of those other groups. Especially once they got out of high school. Because you know what? They knew who they were. Do you know who you are? Who you are is not who you hang out with. It's not who your friends are. Okay? Who your friends are tell you who you are. Okay, if you hang out with assholes and just people who just absolutely love themselves and think they're greater than everyone else, and that's all who you associate with, that's just who you are. Okay? All you do is love yourself and hate everybody else. That's the image it promotes. And it's kind of on the inside. If you really love who you are and don't really care what other people think, you know what? Don't hide it. Okay? Yeah, we're social creatures. I'll tell you what. Pretending to be who you aren't to gain the acceptance of others, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It may make you feel better on the inside for a short while, but once you get older, you'll be like, why did I do that? Why did I hang around those people? Look at them. They're working for 10, 11 bucks an hour. So am I. Now, what if happened if I'd moved on? What if I'd been myself? Okay? I know I'm rambling, but this is where I think about things. My wife is actually kind of grinning and laughing at me right now. It took a long time for me to, like I said, I was bullying stuff, and I said to hell with all of them. I said to hell with anybody who would pick on me. Whatever. I turned it around. One of the big things, especially for verbal bullies, turn it around so it doesn't look like it affects you. Okay? If they make a nickname for you, go with it. Go with it, even if you aren't exactly a fan of it. The biggest thing that'll stop verbal bullies is not letting it get to you in their eyes. But it took me a long time to realize I am who I am. Nobody else likes it. To hell with them. I'm not going to hide who I am for anybody else. And if you don't hide who you are from anybody else, if you make sure everybody knows who you are and what you're like, you won't be alone. You won't. You will. You may not get these 100 friends who are just, oh my God, you're so awesome. But you know what? After a couple years, you'll have 10 times more true friends than any of them ever had. Than you would have had if you were being a fake. That's the truth. That's the truth to happiness. As long as you don't accept it, you don't accept your mistakes, you don't move on. As long as you do all that, you'll be fine. But you make mistakes, you don't move on from them, and it affects you. That's a lot harder. And if you opt for the way out, like suicide, I have no respect for you. I really don't. I have no respect for Amanda. I don't. She fucked up. I don't blame her for her mistakes. I don't. But the fact she wasn't able to move on from them and make just smart decisions about how to react to them or how to deal with them. She moved schools. That was a start. But she didn't move past them. She didn't cut the ties there. It makes it harder. And obviously not being able to make those types of decisions kind of pushed her to the point where she became that typical person that committed suicide. She wasn't the ugly kid or the fat kid who always get that. She was a little cute girl, okay? I guarantee, as many pictures have shown, she had a lot of friends. And it sounds like she had a loving family from what I've seen. I could be wrong. But, she chose to end it. I don't respect that. I really don't. At all. It's one of the most selfish things you can do. If you ever think about ending it, about ending your life, you stop. You sit down by yourself and you think about yourself, your friends, your friends. You say, oh, I don't have any friends. I guarantee you have at least a couple people who consider themselves your friends. Your family. Biggest part right there. Your family. Your family takes the brunt of it if you decide to commit suicide. And it haunts them for the rest of their lives. Your life may be over in an instant. They have to deal with it for the rest of their lives. The rest of their lives. You need to sit and take as much time as you need. I don't care if it takes 2 minutes or 2 years. You figure out where you need to go, where you need to correct things. I guarantee a couple more years. The stuff that affected Amanda, you've probably been old history. Especially if she cut herself off from anyone who knew that. The internet age makes it harder to get away from it. Especially if you're a part of it. I'll tell you what, you don't need the internet to survive. You don't need, I'll die without my internet. I'll die without my smartphone. I'll die without my basic cell phone that's 15 years old. That ain't true. That's not true at all. You'll do perfectly fine. The big thing is finding other things to take up your time. Simple as that. To be honest, in many ways, I think the technology age has made things worse. I think it's simple as that. While it's had many benefits, it's made us worse when it comes to interactions. We have less real person friends. You've got families that text message each other across the table. I mean, my wife and I do that, but we do a lot more talking. We keep it in the real life, IRL. How many people really understand that anymore who are a part of the information age? Anyone from the age of 12 to 30. Seriously. How many really, truly understand what IRL means anymore? Okay? There's so many things. There's so many things outside of the internet. And learning how to channel your issues, channel your sadness, channel your rage. There's so many things you can do. There are so many outlets. And suicide is one of the worst. It really is. I can't say anything more else about it. It's just, this whole thing with Amanda Todd has really riled me up because there's so many other options besides suicide. I get like this anytime there's stuff about suicide. It's just, this one got me more than most because of just how publicized it is, how widespread it has. Like I said, what about those other other people who commit suicide? Like I said, on average, a young American between the ages of 10 and 24, on average, about every 2 hours, one of them commits suicide. Of course, that, like I said, with the other statistic, that means every hour, at least 10 commit unsuccessfully to commit suicide. Whether it be a slash on the wrist, misplaced gun to the head, jumping off a building and breaking their leg, trying to overdose on sleep, on cold medicine, and then just wake up really like hungover the next morning. It's all the same. It's all an attempt. It just, I don't know where else to go with it. It really saddens me that so many people these days think that that's the only way out. You don't channel the issues to your death. You channel it to life. You just gotta figure out what works for you. And from what I've been seeing lately, especially with Amanda, the number one method, get rid of the computer. Get rid of the computer. Get rid of the computer, the tablet, the smartphone, everything. Yeah, if you can't live without some sort of technology, get a basic old Nokia. Something. Something with the old LCD display. You can dial numbers, you can call. Maybe a little bit of texting. They had those. If you absolutely cannot live without that, something. That's the way to go. If you ever want to truly just get away from everything, go spend the summer in the woods. Literally. Maybe a quick jaunt to town every week or two to grab supplies. Spend the summer in the woods or at a camp. You'll feel so much better. It'll give you time away from everything to figure out your life, where you stand, where you want to go, and what it'll take to get there. I don't know what else to say. All I know is suicide's not the way. It isn't. It's a cop-out. And you are the most selfish asshole in the world if you take that route. Peace out.